This is going to be an overview of the features that you can use within Hodhub and how it's going to benefit you in the future. If you're a trade as well, you can obviously write this off on your taxes, either give it to the government or use this program to make your life a little bit more easier. In the dashboard area, you can set up your location and your currency. It'll show the currency set to pounds. You can obviously add your company details. Now, we do say to obviously take the time to upload your logo and add your company details, because any of the reports that you export are going to have these details within them. It is editable for each individual section, but it just saves you a bit of time just having to refill in everything on every single document that you do. On the left, we have the sidebar, and there's this little button at the top where you can get rid of the sidebar just to have a bit more space, because this is a browser app. Because of the amount of detail that's involved, we just couldn't fit it down into a mobile phone sized app, but you still can view various things such as messages, replies, and everything else. To be honest, within the app, it's just a lot. It's difficult to use on a really small screen. In the left, we've broken it down into sections, and it's just a brief overview. So first thing is the payment wallet. This allows subcontractors, main contractors, private clients, companies to pay the other person instantly. You can also obviously have your business analytics. It's just business analytics will show up for each separate project if you manage more than one. Everything's also available to be exported as well. The active projects area, you can create a new project just here in the top corner. And what you can do is, once you've created a card, you can create an estimate and go out to tender with that estimate, and also create a contract. At the end of you creating the contract, you can choose to add it to an active projects section, or you could upload your own contract that you might have just done yourself. It's an option, but within each card is that one individual project, and you can have your conversations about the minutes and agenda and what's happening next, what's been approved, what's still pending, how that affects your payments, and then request payments for that. Hopefully that runs as smooth as possible for you. The milestones, once you've uploaded the contract, it will break down each individual section from the Bill of Quantities and the contract in order to create a timeline which is fully adjustable. This is your Gantt chart. Inbox, this will show you if you're running more than one project, who sent your message and which projects it's associated to. So you can click within that box, it'll take you to that area, and then you can reply to that conversation. So if you're running 50 projects, you don't have to click into each individual card, you can just see them as a list down here. Some of the AI tools that we have is the smart leads. What you do is it's a 4-step process, and once you select your location in this pop-up, give it a name, go to the analytics. The AI has already imported the various bits of information, how much value has been made available today, and then save that as a profile. So next time you log in, you don't have to do this over and over, it's just going to be there. You can click to step 2, smart crawler, and the smart crawler will actually bring in the planning applications for that particular council that you have selected. This is valuable for subcontractors and main contractors, because once something has been approved in planning, then they are now looking for contractors to bid on it. You can simply send them a letter, ask to be included on the tender list, show them Hodhub.ai and how it would benefit them. It's a point of call to bring in the brand new projects that have just been approved from the planning area. You can then add that to your leads. This one, 32 Thompson Road. As you can see, it's added 32 Thompson Road, Dagenham. You can choose to create an estimate for this lead, but you can also share it with your estimator, who can also be on Hodhub.ai. Just create a project, just call that project estimator's project, add that person to that card in the active project section, and then all of a sudden you've got an area where your estimator is linked to, and you can send them particular leads to create estimates for you. You can also click on this button right here, which will then open up the link to the exact planning application. We haven't got the ability to download the PDFs within the portal just yet because the councils don't allow you to have that information. But if you go to the planning portal within your county, then you can download them yourself, and then off the back of here you can create an estimate or click the Bill of Quantities estimator. Next, we're going to go to the AI Mentor, and the AI Mentor is trained on all of the professional aspects within your country. For England, this will have the approved documents, the building regs overview, health and safety documents, risk assessment rules, statutory legislation. It's not just a generalized AI that's going to potentially give you fraudulent answers. You can ask it anything you'd like and it will respond for you. If you're unsure about what items to add to the Bill of Quantities, you can also ask the AI Construction Mentor, or just in the bottom right here where we have this little blue glow. You can click on there and then you can ask this assistant anything. It is trained on whichever specific area or which country you select within the dashboard. It's just as good. You can also have it open while you're doing the Bill of Quantities estimator at the same time. That's the AI Mentor. Client Management Hub at the moment, these are for potential clients. Once you've got their email address, you can add them to this area and list them for future marketing. We are working on some very exciting features for this, where you will be able to send various different emails to different lists of existing clients you've already worked with and potential clients. So it will always keep them in the back of your mind. Bill of Quantities estimator. This is again where you have your project cards. You can see some have been added to the active project section, some haven't, because these were just one-off estimates. So click into this one. It looks quite complicated, but it's designed this way in order to be as easy for you as possible. You have various features where you have the Client Management Hub. If you're working for a specific client, then you can add that client to this section and it will already link all of their details to here to stop you from filling it out. The project library, that's this section down here. This is where you can create your own individual items and you can set regional pricing factors. This lists out, I believe it's for over 5,600 different items, and it has a rate for every single item as well, which is real time. It's constantly updated. AI intelligence drawings. This is an extremely beneficial feature where you can upload multiple documents, and once you upload the documents, the little box pops up at the bottom here. You can tell the box what it is that you're actually doing, because it might be a full set of drawings and you're only doing an extension. If you highlight that section, you can upload the drawings. It will come up with another pop-up which will show you a list of items which you can simply add to the Bill of Quantities, which is this card is going to be all of these individual descriptions here. That's somebody does an AI takeoff of your drawings and can create the descriptions in a professional and competent way to make sure that everything's accounted for. Drawing Studio is where you can upload documents in order to get measurements. We are expanding on this. This is a massive feature that we are looking to progress over the next 2 months. You have this section on the left where, rather than scrolling up and down through endless amounts of different descriptions, you can just simply click in situ concrete, and then you can edit that description if you'd like. You can change the rates, the wasted, description. We'll go back to the overview. This main section is the Bill of Quantities, but just at the bottom here, you can adjust your contingency, overheads and profit, and value-added tax. Contingency amount, as not very many people know, is not for any extras that happen on the project. It's all of the small items that are used in construction which take up the most amount of time to discuss. Rather than discussing them in construction, we allow a contingency amount which covers all of those areas. As the main contractor or main clients, you shouldn't have to deal with pettiness. It just makes the jobs run a lot smoother. Obviously, the overheads and profit percentage, the more expensive it is, the less this percentage is, but obviously you try and get it as much as you possibly can. Industry standards typically around 22.5 to 26%. But it does depend on your area, because some people are still getting stung by material prices and things are just costing an awful lot more. There's various different tax amounts which the government, when they want to boost industries, they might reduce tax or take tax away on new builds, for example, like they have been doing. But this is nice and simple to use, and it's fixed. This will give you an overall summary of what the job is going to cost. And in the right section, you have the product library. Within the product library, just here, you've got the curated, which is what's been created for you. And these are, as I say, adjusted by AI. These are live prices. You never have to adjust them yourself unless you'd like to. But you can also create your own items by just clicking the add item up here. Pop-up comes up, you add the details, and then the saved items will be added to the custom section. Because obviously, if you're an electrician, you charge the same prices, you typically do the same things, you might as well create a list of 10 or 15 of them, add them to the custom section, and then you can just add them to the individual job depending on what is required. You also have the location factor here, wherever you are. It can be adjusted up here. So you can make London probably about 9 times as much if you want. Obviously this is a factor. This goes up to 60%. So 60% is the maximum that you can allow. Anything past that, you're probably just wasting your time. But at the bottom here, you have the preview, the Bill of Quantities, where you can actually have a little look at the information before the actual Bill of Quantities has been created. You can change different clauses here at a simple click of the button. And then if you're happy with it, export it. And seeing as that's exported, let's just have an overview so you can have a look. It'll create a front cover, a nice summary overview, some key recommendations, all of the details that were listed. It says that because we're selected in England, it's UK legal compliance and terms that stand for this project. Then you have a certificate of professional accuracy, Bill of Quantities section, which will just list out absolutely everything, just as you've written it in the previous page. Obviously, all of this is editable, but the way that we do it as quantity surveyors is we'll create a description for that specific item, then we'll have a quantity, unit, and a rate. And the rate times the quantity equals the total. The reason we do this is because the rates usually stay the same, but the quantities are usually different. If all of a sudden, in this hung tile cladding to the dormer cheeks, if all of a sudden you found out you needed 23 meters squared, then you could just change the 18 to 23, you'll get a new price, and that's going to adjust the total amount that you're actually going to pay. Then you can actually compare the original estimate to the final estimate, and it will show you the differences, the variations, everything that was extra, and then you can use that as your final account documents when you send it to your accountants to get them to try and save you as much tax as possible. But that's the layout. It's very good. It's very nice and easy on the eye and very professional. So here's the create contract section. This is all in line with statutory UK law. It'll be the same for America, France, or Germany, or anywhere else, wherever your location is. If you're not sure which contract to choose, then you can just simply ask the AI, and then it will highlight a section for you. And one thing we always recommend, don't know why people don't do this, but you can click here to add a contractor's personal guarantees. If the contractor has a limited company, then anything they do is liable for that limited company. But if you add a personal guarantee, then that means that the individual who owns that company can be prosecuted for any work which is not finished, effective, or just needs redoing. Just maybe they didn't fulfill the contract. We can get into personal guarantees with regards to businesses, but this is a wizard. You just simply go through the different types, adjust the clauses. Personal guarantees already been added, and you can have all of the details and then print out a nice document just the same as the Bill of Quantities, but obviously bespoke contract for your individual project invoicing. If you're a subcontractor, you've done a little bit of work for a main contractor, you're attached to the contract and an area has been assigned to you. That's the section of work that you're going to be doing. You've just completed 50% of the work. You can go to this section, type in 50% requested, hit the button, and the main client or the main contractor that you're working for will get the notification, and they can either approve the documents, or if they don't agree with the amount that you're asking for, reduce it slightly. If they reduce the amount slightly, then legally there's something called a pay less notice. The pay less notice is a legal document that is required that every single time you ask for a payment, the main contractor or the person paying you has to fill out a form as to why they are reducing that payment down. Because if they list the details, once you complete those details, legally you are entitled to whatever sum has been retained by them. That's the importance of a pay less notice. And I guarantee most of you have never even heard of this. That's one of the reasons why this program is just so beneficial. It does everything automatically. They can't even reduce the amount without filling out a pay less notice. And you also get to dispute that pay less notice within the minutes in the agenda section. Throughout the entire project, you can actually export this document. That's if a dispute is not satisfied, then you can use this whole minutes and agenda section, use it, print it off and use it as evidence in a courtroom if it ever ends up going there. Often if you just have things laid out, you just print it out and say, yes, but on this day you said this, I did this, and that's why this was delayed. And things can just often be sorted out a little bit more visually with the assist of this app. We've done the pro invoicing here. Developers sections where you can do the appraisals. If you're a property developer, you can actually create your own appraisals. Obviously you create a new project card. We'll go into this one. And this is broken down into the most simplest form for you. With the development units, you can either set it to square meters or square foot. Developers typically only use square foot. As QSs, we generally use square meters, but it's whatever your choice is. You can obviously set the different types of building as to how big it's going to be, what type. How many of that styles? Maybe you've got 15 houses with 4 different styles. You would have 2 styles of a 1-bedroom apartment and it would be 50 square meters each one. The cost of the build, £1,800 per square meter. You can get that information off of Google nowadays. You can potentially just use a little AI agent just at the bottom here. And that will give you a total cost for that individual item. Then there's the house type 2. There's 3 of these, average 70 square meters, same build cost. That's going to punch out a price. Obviously you can do that for your various different house styles, and you can have a look to see how much the land is actually going to cost you. Once you know the land price, you've got legal fees and stamp duty. Add the professional fees, various different professionals which are going to be associated with the project and their fees. Any additional costs, you might have SIL costs, and then the finance and marketing budgets. There's a contingency amount, and this will punch out a very loose profit percentage because, as you know, anything under 22% is generally not accepted by any financiers. When you're looking for a parcel of land to actually purchase and develop on, this is a very quick and handy way of doing a nice appraisal. Obviously, you can export the information, and in here you can have a base case, conservative, or optimistic. You can see if it's a conservative amount, well under. If you're optimistic, well over. But the base case, that'll give you your average of both. You have a developer's site diary because developers typically manage the projects differently to main contractors. Here you can just have it all in one place and add all of your various meetings, locations, wherever it's going to be. We are linking this up to the Google Calendar as well, and also the Microsoft Calendar. So everything just syncs to one another. Compliance Hub, this can help you with your building regs, health and safety. General team chats, you might have information from an engineer, for example, and you'd like to check the compliance on that. You can also use the pop-up chat, a little AI assistant that we have on the side. This is a real-time talking AI assistant. It's better than most large companies out there. We're quite proud of it. You have a secure vault where you can add all of your individual certifications. Once somebody's come in, signed off the windows, they give you a certificate, signed off the gas and electricity, give you a certificate, you can upload them to here, and that will also link to the active project section. And live construction jobs is when the app becomes really busy, people can just post their live jobs. Once they've posted their live jobs, you can apply for them for free if it's within the area that you have set within your smart leads section. This is fantastic because these are people who got lapsed or their planning applications are becoming lapsed. They're looking to go out to tender. They don't know who to speak to. They can just add their job to this live section, describe what it is, and then you'll get it sent to you automatically. It's a first serve situation. I don't like any more than 4 or 5 contractors bidding on the same project. This is also not a my builder kind of thing. You don't have to pay to get the leads. You just pay one subscription fee, and then you can have all of these features all rolled into one. And generally, that's an overview of Hodhub. And if you've ever managed a construction project before, then you can see the benefits of how Quantity Surveyors actually monitor the projects. I hope that's given you a brief outline of the various things that you can do with this app. And I shall be going into more detail in our YouTube channel for each one of these individual cards, and also creating scenarios such as how would I manage and estimate and write a contract for a single story extension, a wraparound extension, a new roof, a new housing development. There's going to be plenty of videos which are going to be coming along in the future. But if you've got any questions at all, ask this little chatbot in the corner, because we have spent many hours training it on exactly how this app works, and it's absolutely unbelievable. As I say, register for your free 10-day accounts. You can even use some of the features for free. For example, if you're just doing an estimate at home, just quickly create a bill of quantities, create a contract, and potentially use the other features that we have. But we do have other things coming to the app over the next 3 months, such as a dedicated tendering area. We are just working on that, but this will give you a good overview of what you can have right now. There is actually a £500 a year, rather than I believe it's £1,500 a year, which is about 50% less than other softwares which only typically produce one thing, like the Bill of Quantities estimator. But £1,500 a year is statutory, 15, 16, 17, whatever it is. But at the moment, we do have an offer on of £500 a year, and you can actually keep that £500 a year per license as long as you keep on renewing it. This is a introductory offer for people, so once the offer goes, you are going to have to go back up to the £1,500 a year or whatever it is. If I was you, I'd take advantage now. Let me just switch to the free user section, and if I click on the pop-up to upgrade, so obviously it shows you the various details of what you can have. But if you click here, have an exclusive invitation code, and in here, if you type in 1991, it will unlock the £500 a year. As I say, you can keep this for as long as you want. As long as you keep on paying the £500, then you'll never ever pay the £1,600, even if you're using the same program in 10 years. It's a massive benefit. But 1991 is the code if you're interested. And that's been the general overview of Hodhub.ai. As I say, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. We're a very brand new company. This has been about a year in the process, and many tens of thousands of pounds. Programmers and professionals have been involved. Take advantage while you can. See you on YouTube.